Welcome, everyone, to Bell Park in Clovis, New Mexico. Time for Hobbs Eagle Baseball, live on the internet, HobbsAmerica.com, the YouTube Hobbs Sports page, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. Ty Friend here with you this afternoon, and going to the nighttime hours, it's going to be a hot one out here in the 80s. A little bit of a wind, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Not a lot of gusting going on. Over the weekend, of course, down in Lee County, I know it's going to be some heavy-duty winds there, partially on Saturday and mostly on Sunday, but it looks like a very good night for baseball here in Clovis. Don't see very much cloud cover here as well. A lot of blue skies here at Bell Park Stadium. And we're going to talk about this Eagles and Wildcats matchup. Of course, they did play Thursday. 33 hits or runs were scored in that game. 20-13 win for the Hobbs Eagles, and that got them to a 2-1 record in district. Now, Clovis is yet to win a ball game in the district, so they're really looking to pick up one here if they can. They are 0 for 3 at this point. Of course, the Eagles split with Roswell 1-1, and then again beat Clovis in that matchup on Thursday. So that's where their 2-1 record is coming from. In that ball game, the Eagles managing 19 hits, the best all season, again, along with those 20 runs that they scored. Lots of guys contributing in the game. Jason Fuentes had 4 for 5 at the plate, and definitely stepping up big for the Eagles. 5 RBIs in the contest. All of his hits, the 4 hits that he did get, were singles, but still managed to get some guys around the bases when he did knock the ball into play. Other guys stepping up big. Luke Parrish went 3 for 5. And he finished up with 2 doubles in the ball game and definitely helping the cause out. He made 3 runs across home plate. We should mention, too, Jason Fuentes had 4 runs. So everybody getting a piece in the pie of this Clovis matchup. Also, Hernandez doing a great job, 3 for 4 from the plate. Of course, he had that home run, 2 RBI singles, and a sac fly RBI as well. So 6 RBIs total for Hernandez. Again, with that home run, definitely stepping up big for the Eagles. Other multiple hitters, Tristan Montez, perfect, 3 for 3. He had a 2 RBI double in that victory. And Cole Kester was 2 for 4 as well. He had a 2 RBI double and a single. So lots of guys stepping up. In fact, there was only one guy on the batting order that did not get a hit in the game, and that player actually got an RBI, a sac fly RBI. So he still contributed offensively for the Eagles in that one. Single hits for Carson Phillips. Also, Braden Dunlap coming off the bench, the freshman in the last inning of the game, at least for Hobbs offense in the 6th, to knock a homer over. It was John Curtis picking up a single as well. Jaden Taylor got a RBI double. Get that out of my mouth if I can. So, again, lots of people stepping up big for the Eagles in that win. 19 hits again, 20 runs scored. Eagles' defense a little shaky at times. They had 4 errors, but still got the victory by 7 runs. And another thing that was important, too, Jaden Taylor definitely was stepping up to get on the around the bases. He had 4 walks in the game, 4 walks to the team, I should say. 3 of those were Jaden Taylor's, and ended up scoring 4 runs. So definitely really important for him in terms of getting on the bases for the Eagles to get those base runners. Lots of guys getting some steals in the game, too. Hobbs doing a really good job of taking care of getting guys in order to score. Parrish, Mendez, and Fuentes all getting steals in that ball game. Hobbs was only struck out 6 times in the game, and again, 528 batting average against Clovis in that 20-13 victory. So take your hats off to the Eagles. They did go with 2 pitchers in the game. Alan Udahara was the starter. Hendrick Sullivan came in relief and got the W for the Eagles program. Clovis Wildcats, though, no slouches in the hitting game. They had 14 hits, 5 shy of the Eagles. Actually half of what the Eagles had for errors, just 2 in the game, and 9 of their 13 runs were earned in the contest. They were struck out 8 times by Udahara and Sullivan combined in that game. But for Clovis, they did move the bat pretty well. Everybody got at least 1 hit in that contest. Tyler Ashby went 3 for 5. He had a 2 RBI homer and 2 singles. Joseph Hernandez had a RBI single and a double. Went 2 for 4 at the plate. Sandro Cordova had 2 singles, one of those for an RBI, 2 for 3. Trujillo, the catcher, RBI double and a single. And Colton Stephen had a 2 RBI double and a single. So those 5 guys really stepping up big, and everybody at least getting 1 hit for the Wildcats despite their 7-run loss in that ball game. And looking at the scoring in the contest Thursday, Hobbs up by 1 run at the end of 1, 3-2. Neither team scored 2nd and 3rd inning. Both teams getting 5 in the 4th, so Hobbs held on to an 8-7 lead. They tacked on 5 more in the 5th to go up 13-8, as Clovis did manage to get 1 run in the 5th. Then Hobbs outscoring Clovis by 2 in the 6th, 7-5. So they had the lead of 20-13 heading into the 7th, the final at bat for Clovis. And nothing doing for the Wildcats offensively, so Eagles racked up with the win. And, of course, Hobbs doing a great job in that 6th inning. They got the 7 runs, but also 6 hits to help out that cause to get the victory and put the win in the books for the Eagles. So great job for Hobbs. In terms of the Max Preps poll, that did have a little bit of movement since Thursday. Of course, the Eagles got the win, and they ended up going to number 11. So they actually dropped a spot by beating Clovis. Eagles 12-11 on the season. They still have the second best strength of schedule in the 5A right now with a 15.3. The best strength of schedule, the Carlsbad Cavemen, of course, from the same district, who now sit with another 12-10 record, but they beat they beat Roswell 13-1 in the one game that they played on Thursday. They have another one tonight. They beat Clovis 3-1 and 14-13 in their previous doubleheader. So Carlsbad currently sitting at 6th in the Max Preps poll. Once again, the 12-10 record, or make it 13-10 with the win Thursday, and they are perfect in district at 3-0. Once again, Hobbs at number 11, dropping 1 spot in the Max Preps poll. Also coming into the top 20 of the district teams, Clovis actually dropped a spot after the Eagles' loss. They go down to 14. They are 11-12 on the season and have a 13.2 strength of schedule, which is 6th best in the 5A, even though they are currently ranked 14th in that poll. And last but not least, the Roswell Coyotes dropped a spot to number 20 with a 10-12 record. Their strength of schedule is at 8. But remember last year, the Carlsbad Cavemen checked in at the number 3 seed at the state tournament. They got upset by the 14th seed Cibola, 2-1. The first one was won by Cibola 8-4. Carlsbad won game 2, 8-3, and Cibola wrapped it up 9-7. And again, that's with the number 3 seed for the Cavemen. So anything could happen this time of season, and the Hobbs Eagles definitely like to pick up another road victory. And this is a pretty much a must-win situation for the Clovis Wildcats with that 0-3 record right now. They want to be in contention for a playoff spot. They got to try to get themselves inched up in terms of the district standings, but also try to get at least 500 or better to have a shot. Last year they did not make the playoffs with a 12-12 record. And, of course, the other two teams, Hobbs and Roswell, were all tied for second with 2-4 records as well. Carlsbad, the only team to punch their ticket to the playoffs, and that was, of course, that loss in their first series of matchup with Cibola. So Hobbs and Clovis going to go at it here in just a second. We're going to have umpire meeting right now with the coaches. Black and gold and white versus the purple and gray here at Bell Park in Clovis. We'll be back in 2 minutes with live Hobbs Eagle baseball. Stay with us. Welcome back to Bell Park here in Clovis. Ty Friend here with you. Hobbs Eagle baseball getting ready to start against the Clovis Wildcats, second game of the 2-game matchup. As they announce the Hobbs Eagles wearing their gold tops and white pants, gold socks as well, white and black caps. Quickly running down the batting order for the Eagles, Jaden Taylor, Jason Fuentes, Jaden Hernandez, Cole Kester in the 4-slot cleanup. At number 5 is Tristan Montez, Luke Parrish, Braden Dunlap. The freshman coming in at number 7 in the order. John Curtis at 8th and Carson Phillips at 9th. Kestner's will be at first on defense. Taylor second, Dunlap third, Fuentes at short. Curtis, Phillips, and Parrish going from left to right in the outfield. Chase Brister will be the starting man on the mound for the Hobbs Eagles, and definitely would like a chance to get a 2-0 record against Clovis here after the win. Brister coming in with a 2-3 record, his 8th appearance this season, and a 6.39 ERA for the Hobbs Eagle defense. We mentioned in the last game Thursday, this is a very senior-laden ball club for the Eagles. They have 9 seniors, Clovis with only 3, but they're heavy in the juniors with 8. And in terms of the underclassmen, 4 sophomores for Clovis, a sophomore and 2 freshmen for the Hobbs Eagles. Of course, Dunlap definitely a big bat for Hobbs. He's had his 2nd home run, one against Clovis Thursday and then earlier in the season. And he will be a starter again today at the third base position. Taking a look at the Clovis roster at this point, it'll be Adams at first, Cordova second. And coming into that third slot will be Rodriguez. Shortstop Moreno, Trujillo the catcher, left to right in the outfield, Romero, Stephen, and Ashby. Again, Eagles had a real good time on the batting side of the game when they got their total of 20 runs in that ball game, batted .528 for the contest. And if you look at the 2 teams in district so far, the opponents for the Hobbs Eagles have batted .358. They've had 38 hits on 106 at-bats. Your Hobbs Eagles batting .372, 38 hits, exactly the same amount as their opponents out of 102 at-bats. So .372 for Hobbs, .358 for a combined double game Roswell plus 1 and with Clovis. So definitely some good numbers there. They get the Clovis starting lineup going now for the purple and white. They're wearing their white home uniforms. I'll let you hear a little bit of the action here. Hobbs Eagles currently 2nd in the district with that 2-1 record. Carlsbad at 3-0. Eagles currently averaging 13 runs a ball game, that in the district, and only giving up 10.3, so almost 3 runs better than their opponents so far, Roswell and Clovis. The Clovis Wildcats giving up 9 runs a game, scoring 9 runs a game on the average and giving up 12.3, so about -3 in the game so far. Hobbs for the season in terms of their 12-11 record, close to 8 runs a game, 7.9 to be exact, and giving up 7.7, so razor margin there between the runs given and the runs taken. Get ready for the national anthem here in Clovis. We'll take a break. Hobbs versus the Wildcats. Stay with us. We'll be back in 90 seconds. Welcome back to Bell Park here in Clovis as the Hobbs Eagles get ready to take on the Clovis Wildcats. Game 2 of the two-game series. Hobbs will finish up regular season next week. Carlsbad for a couple of ball games. Of course, the K-Men undefeated 3-0 right now. Just 3 games over 500 overall at 13-10. But they are ranked 6th in the state. Eagles dropped a spot to number 11. Clovis Wildcats now 14th in the Max Preps poll. But they're looking for their first district win at 0-3 right now, so pretty important one. And they've been putting up some numbers, though. Of course, we mentioned the loss 20-13 to Hobbs on Thursday, where they did get 14 hits in that game, but also the very close game that they had with Carlsbad the previous week, a 14-13 game in the second one, losing just by 1. A couple runs behind Carlsbad in the game, one of that two-game set. So they're definitely a force to be reckoned with. 387 is the back wall for this ballpark, center field. It's 340 on the left and 330 on the right. Some warm-up pitches coming here for the starter, Joseph Hernandez for Clovis. Jaden Taylor, Jason Fuentes, Jaden Hernandez, and Cole Kestner 1 through 4 in the order for the Eagles, who are batting .324 this season in their 23 games. Of course, they did .528 against Clovis on Thursday. Definitely everybody getting a piece of the action. Again, just one player did not get a hit, but they still got an RBI because of a sac fly. So it looks like the final pitching is done, and we're ready for real action here as Jaden Taylor will step up to get it going. Taylor batting .388 this season. 26 hits, 18 RBIs, 7 doubles, and 2 triples. Taylor 1 for 2 against Clovis Thursday, an RBI double. Also had 3 walks in that ball game and scored 3 times. So Taylor really helping out with the base running for Hobbs. Again, we had 3 stolen bases in that game as well. Waggling the bat behind his right ear as he awaits the first pitch from Hernandez. Curveball inside, clips the corner for the strike. Holding solid there was Taylor, the second baseman for the Eagles. Just one game here, single contest. Quick return on the pitch. Fastball down the middle, going to be fouled right over the complex. Out of play on the foul. Wildcats made it to the playoffs didn't make it to the playoffs last year despite a .500 record, 12-12. Fastball comes down low for ball. Count 1-2 now to Jaden Taylor. Taylor on the season from the on-base percentage at 45%. Curveball inside, almost takes off his belt as he backs out, gets the ball call, evens up the count at 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes to the leadoff man for the Eagles. That is off the fastball. That's going to be sailing away again. Foul right, out of play. So getting some contact is Taylor. That game on Thursday was a close one from the start, 3-2 to start it off. The Eagles banking on that 7 runs in the 6th to get the win. Fastball. Here we go again. Right foul behind the backstop. Part of the parking lot behind us. I'm parked behind a building just to be safe. Fastball high and outside for ball 3. A full count now. Taylor's working it just a bit. Definitely got to protect the plate on anything coming close. Wants to be the first base runner of this ball game for the Eagles. Quick return of the pitch. Fastball, swing and a miss. That'll be a K, unfortunately, for Taylor. He'll have to sit down. Game on Thursday, the Eagles struck out a total of 5 times. And they were loaded up with pitchers. Rodriguez, Jenkins, Sepulveda, and Romero all getting a chance on the mound for the Wildcats. Jason Fuentes now the shortstop. Takes the fastball. A little outside for ball 1. Fuentes batting .370 on 27 hits, 19 RBIs, 4 doubles, and a triple. Fastball hard off the middle of the bat, heading towards right field. It's got a curve and just barely drops about a half a foot from the right first baseline out in right field. So foul for Fuentes. One of the best producers for Hobbs in that game Thursday, 4 for 5 at the plate. A 2 RBI single, another RBI single, another 2 RBI single. So all three of them scoring some runs for the Eagles. And he started off the game with another single and didn't score a run himself. So 4 for 5 and 4 singles. Umpire asking for a changeup on the ball now, is keeping his supply loaded. 1-1 count to Jason Fuentes. Jaden Hernandez and Cole Kester 3 and 4 in the order for the Eagles. Taking a little bit more time now is Hernandez. Turns and fires. Fastball. Hard swing for Fuentes. Unfortunate, no contact on the ball for the strike. A lot of muscle behind that one. Count goes to 1-2. That's the windup in the throw. Fastball again. A handler is going to be a one dropper at the shortstop. He'll fire it across and very close. They're going to call it out. That was a close throw there coming from Moreno, hooking up with Adams on the 6-3. Had to go up a little bit high in the air to pull that one down, but it very close one. Usually tie goes to the runner according to the Hobbs Eagle base coaches there, but fortunately it's going to be the out off the throw from Moreno. Ground out to short. 2 down now for the Eagles, bringing up Jaden Hernandez, the catcher. Hernandez batting .403. He's got 25 hits, 31 RBIs, 6 doubles, and 5 home runs. Best on the team. Fastball swing and a miss. 5 of the 19 homers the Eagles have put over the fence this season. Jaden went 3 for 4 on Thursday. Hit that 3 RBI homer, also scored on that one, obviously. RBI single, another RBI single. So racking up the RBIs in that game. 3 runs scored as well. Fastball, swing and a miss. A little high on that one for Hernandez. He's 3rd in the order for the Eagles and the catcher. 1-2 counts. Nobody on the bases, 2 down for the Eagles as they face the pitching of Joseph Hernandez. Fires a fastball, swing and a miss. Boy, some hard pitches coming from Hernandez. That's strike 3. And that's 3 up and 3 down for Hobbs. No hits, nobody on the bases, no runs come across. We head to the bottom of the first. Your score, 0-0. Clovis coming to bat next here at Bell Park in Clovis. Chase Brister warming up for your Hobbs Eagles on the mound. The pitcher coming in with a 2-3 record, his 8th game of the season, and a 6.39 ERA. He'll be facing Moreno, Ashby, Romero, and Hernandez 1 through 4. He takes his warm-up pitches here at Bell Park in Clovis. Just the single game here in this final matchup between these two teams in the regular district schedule. Clovis will finish with Roswell next week for 2 games, and Hobbs of the Carlsbad Cavemen, the district leader. And they pretty much walked away with the district championship last year with a 6-0 record. So on comes our catcher. That's going to be Hernandez as he was waiting for the warm-up pitches to end. Kestner at first, Taylor second, Dunlap at third, Fuentes at short, Curtis, Phillips, and Parrish left to right in the outfield. And again, Chase Brister on the mound. Wearing the turquoise blueberry-looking glove there. Continues to warm up now with his starting catcher, Hernandez. Got about 2 more pitches left. The umpire making sure everybody sees that in the crowd. A little bit of a wind here, not too bad though, about 5 to 10 miles per hour. No chance of precip, at least the last check of the weather updates. In terms of the Max Preps poll, Cleveland still remains at number 1. There have been some losses the last few weeks here for some of those top teams in the Max Preps poll. In fact, Cleveland had a 2-game losing streak going on, but they did get a win this week. Cleveland at 21-2. Piedra Vista lost this week. They dropped to 20-3. They're second. Rio Rancho third at 19-4. La Cueva fifth, 19-3. Centennial fifth at 19-2. Then Carlsbad number 6. El Dorado 7. Oregon Mountain 8. Mayfield 9. And Hobbs dropped to 11 as moving up was Los Lunas, number 10. First at bat for Clovis is going to be Moreno. Victor Moreno takes the first fastball inside for ball 1. Moreno went 1 for 5 in Hobbs. He had an RBI single, flew a couple times out, struck out, and got on due to an error. Again, 15 hits for Clovis. Curveball inside in the gap, out to left field. Takes a roll, get down on a knee to scoop it up. John Curtis, and that'll be a single to start off for Moreno. So their first hit of the ball game to get a runner on. Second in the order for the Wildcats, Tyler Ashby had a really good game on Thursday. One of their top hitters against the Eagles. He was 3 for 5, a 2 RBI homer, 2 singles as well. He plays right field for the Wildcats. Brister take a little time here, showing bunt. This is going to be on the line for a second, then rolls foul. Scooped up at first by Kestner. Little yo-yo throw back to his pitcher on the foul call. Definitely trying to get base runners here for Coach Cruz and the Wildcats. We're in all whites, the pinstripes as well for the purple and white squad here at home at Bell Park. Get some signals from Coach Cruz now. Here's Ashby. Going the ball around the infield there for the Eagles. Again, Clovis batting .358 against district opponents. Hobbs at .372. Showing bunt again, a high one, comes off the bat, rolls back to Brister off the mound, underhands it softball style to Kestner at first. Runner will advance, but the ground out there for Ashby did move the runner though. Off the bunt. Not quite sure he wanted it to go where it did. It went to the right of the mound as you're facing the pitcher from home plate. Gave an easy chance for Brister to scoot and just barely underhanded over there to Kestner at first. That will advance Moreno to second, as we mentioned. Lefty up now, that's Aiden Romero, the left fielder. Aiden went 1 for 5, had a double, a couple of grounders, a fly out, and a strikeout. Curveball outside, comes off the end of the bat into the first-second gap, scooped up for the Eagles, firing to Kestner to keep the runner at third for the out. As Taylor connects with Kestner off a 4-3, out number 2. But runner now at third base. Brings up Joseph Hernandez, the pitcher. He won't be DH in this game for sure. He was 2 for 4 on Thursday. RBI single and a double. Also on due to an error and a fielder's choice. Quickly the pitch from Brister, a curveball up near the helmet for the ball. Hernandez had to duck out of that one. He is the cleanup man for the Wildcats. Adams, Cordova, and Sepulveda all coming up next. Now wasted time here for Brister. Another high curveball towards the helmet for ball 2. 2-0 count as the two pitchers face each other here. Once again, runner at third is Moreno. Clovis did get the first run of the ball game on Thursday as well. They were trailing 3-2 at the end of one, though. Curveball high again, ball 3. Clovis did not walk once in that game as well in Hobbs. Fastball this time gets the inside corner for the strike, as holding on it was Hernandez. 9 of the 13 runs for Clovis were earned runs. Hobbs did have 4 errors in that ball game, still getting a 7-run win. Here's the 3-1. Fastball barely misses outside as Hernandez behind the plate trying to place the glove to get the ump to bite on that one. They're going to call the ball. That will be a walk for Hernandez. So the first walk issued in this series, time called. It looks like you have a courtesy runner going to check in for Clovis at first. And that'll bring up Reed Adams, the first baseman. He's 5th in the order. He was 1 for 4 in Hobbs, a 2 RBI home run in his last at bat, number 4, 4th time he was up to the plate flew out twice to left and also had a strikeout. So a lot of work out there in left field for the Eagles with Adams at the plate. So Curtis is going to move up just a bit out in left field. Runner at first and third both. Here in the bottom of the first, still scoreless, but knocking to the door of the Wildcats. 2 down. Brister taking the time to say yes to the pitch call. Fastball clips the top of the strike zone for the strike. Holding on to it was Adams. Steps out, takes a few signals from Coach Cruz there at third. Adams, one of the lefties for the Wildcats. Puts that bat on his left shoulder and kind of bouncing off there a couple times, waiting for Brister's pitch. Fastball outside off the end of the bat, going to go to left field. Takes a one-hopper, pulled down by Curtis, but that will be an RBI single converted by Adams. That will score Moreno from third. And the first score of the ball game for the Wildcats here in the bottom of the first. 1-0 your score, favor the purple and white. That'll step up now. Sandro Cordova, the second baseman. Cordova went 1 for 4, correction 2 for 3. RBI single and another single in his last 2 at-bats as he went up to the plate 4 times. Was also hit by a pitch. Curveball inside is going to come off the handle to third. The throw to second is on time. And on the good connect there was Dunlap hooking up with Taylor for out number 3 on the ground out by Cordova. But the Wildcats do manage 2 hits. They leave 1 on base. 1 run comes home. We're going to the top of the second. It's Clovis 1, your Hobbs Eagles nothing. Come back with us in 60 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Back live here at Bell Park in Clovis, Hobbs Eagle District Baseball. Second series of the district. Last game between these 2 teams, Hobbs and Clovis. Next week it's Carlsbad to wrap it up. And then they'll announce the state pairings for the tournament. 16 teams will make it into the playoffs. 3 of the 4 teams in the district did not make it last year. Carlsbad, the only representative, lost in the first round, an upset, losing to number 14 Cibola. Carlsbad was the 3rd seed. Going to the second inning now. Hobbs up to the plate, Cole Kestner. Kestner, of course, the first baseman, was 2 for 4. Had a single and a 2 RBI double. A couple of runs scored on a walk for the Eagles. Takes a fastball on the first one. Little flinch there. Doesn't swing. Gets the strike. Kestner batting .358 this season on 24 hits, 23 RBIs, 6 doubles, triple, and 4 home runs. Curveball inside, high in the air. Going to go towards right foul to the Clovis dugout and goes on top of the concession roof and bouncing around there. Kestner, not concession. Kestner, the guy that hits the home runs. Now he's second on the team. Hernandez took a lead on him by 1. Had 5 total now, 4 for Kestner. But 19 total for the team. Fastball outside and high for the ball. Count goes to 1-2. Kestner, the cleanup man for the Eagles. Hernandez not taking a lot of time on the mound. Turns and fires a fastball outside. Swing and a miss for Kestner. Unfortunately, strike 3. Already 3 Ks issued by Hernandez against the Hobbs Eagle batters. Tristan Montez, the DH now. He is 5th in the order for Hobbs. Montez finished up with a 3 for 4, make it 4 for 4 day. He had a couple of singles, a 2 RBI double, walk, run scored. Curveball inside. It's going high towards right field, but the fielder was already halfway up, but he just kind of waits for it. So he didn't choke way back to the wall there. He was moved up halfway in right field, and making the catch out there was Ashby for the flyout. Second out, that was Montez. And now Luke Parrish trying to get something going for the Eagles. They have not got a hit yet, and they've been at bat 5 times. Parrish, the right fielder, 3 for 5 against Clovis on Thursday. Parra doubles, scored some runs after that, and a single with the run scored. He takes a fastball down the middle. This is going to the right wall, close to 379, and it is over. 379-foot home run for Luke Parrish. That's how you get the offense going. So he'll get himself an RBI on top of that. And the run for himself and for the Hobbs Eagles to tie it up here in the second. Eagles team going to get there and greet him there at home as he comes around, does some helmet butts with the guys, and ties up this ball game at 1-1. Big home run there for Luke Parrish. That's his first of the season. 9 players now with home runs. That's the 20th of the season for the Eagles. Fastball down the middle, the pitch coming to Dunlap, swing and a miss. Freshman had a home run against Clovis on Thursday, his second of the season. Sitting in the 7th spot, fastball. A little low for the ball, evens up the count at 1-1. Of course, Dunlap playing third in this contest as a starter. Definitely a great future for him. Curveball inside, swing and a miss for Dunlap. Count now 1-2. He comes in batting .600. 3 hits, 4 RBIs, and 2 home runs. He's been at bat just 5 times as a freshman. Did also play basketball for the Eagles varsity. Curveball inside, yanks it out to left on a one-hopper. It's scooped up out and left by Romero, but it'll be a single for Braden Dunlap. So Eagles with back-to-back hits, a home run and a single now. And now John Curtis going to try to keep adding on the runners here. He's 8th in the order, the left fielder. Curtis comes into the contest. Takes away curveball inside. It's .277 average. It's going high towards center field. Over the shoulder, one-hand catch deep towards a little bit close to the warning track. Not quite there yet, but coming down with the snag was Steven for out number 3, the flyout by Curtis. So the Hobbs Eagles get back on the scoreboard. Tie it up. RBI homer for Parrish. A single by Dunlap, so 2 hits. 1 left on base. 1 run comes across. We're tied, going 1-1 to the bottom of the second. Stay with us on the Hobbs Eagle Network. One-one ball game here at Bell Park in Clovis. Hobbs tying it up after a home run by Luke Parrish. Now at the bottom of the second. Eagles come in with a 12-11 record, 10th in the Max Preps poll. And Clovis at 11-12. They want to make their record 500 after this one. Both teams with 2 hits so far. HR for Parrish and a single by Dunlap for the Eagles. Moreno got a single for Clovis to start it off and an RBI single for Reed Adams. They go to 7th in the order now. Conrad Sepulveda, the DH, up for the purple and white. Sepulveda went 1 for 4, had a single. Flew out a couple of times and ground out in Sportsman's Park in Hobbs Thursday. He's one of their lefties. Trujillo and Steven will be the last 2 on the order for the Wildcats to wrap it up for the first time around. Chase Brister with the windup and the throw. Curve it inside, low for ball 1. You're listening live to Hobbs Eagle Baseball exclusive coverage on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube Hobbs Sports page, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. Brister with the blueberry colored glove in the front of his face now. Turns and fires. Fastball right where he needs to, down the pike for the strike. Count now to 1-1 to Sepulveda. Quickly, Brister returns. Fastball again, half swing, and that's going to be strike 2 for Sepulveda. Kind of lost his balance there, footing kind of stumbling in that right side of the plate, the lefty. So 1 ball and 2 strikes down to Sepulveda. And Brister says, I'm going to keep it coming. Fastball comes inside, sliding right. Is Hernandez keeping it from going wild, but will be a ball regardless. Count even up at 2-2. Hobbs Lady Eagles in softball action today as well at Roswell. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Ooh, it hits, slides him off his right waist, right down his side that time. That'll be a hit by pitch for Sepulveda to get on the DH. So now Guadalupe Trujillo, the catcher, 8th in the order. 2 for 4 on Thursday. He had an RBI double, scored a run after that. Started the game, though, with a single. Struck out twice in his last 2 at-bats. Takes a look over to Coach Cruz. Runner at first is Sepulveda after being hit by the pitch. I mentioned the Eagles up 3-2 at the end of 1 on Thursday. Very close ball game. Fastball high, good eye for Trujillo for the ball. Nobody scored in the 2nd and 3rd inning. And finally, both teams pumping through 5 runs in the 4th. Hobbs was up 8-7 midway through the game. Showing bunt. It'll be right back to Brister, left of the mound. Picked up and fired away and gets it to Kestner for the 1-3 for the out. The bunt back to Brister on the mound. So Trujillo have to sit down. That'll bring up bottom of the order now. Colton Stephen, the center fielder. Stephen was 2 for 4, a 2 RBI double and a single on Thursday. Everybody getting at least 1 hit. And 5 of those guys, multiple hits for Clovis. 1 down, runner at second. That is Sepulveda. Fastball clips the outside corner for Brister, and the strike. Moreno, Ashby, and Romero top the order for Clovis, going to the 2nd time in the roster after this. 3-2 hit count currently. Fastball low for the ball. Count to 2-1. Correction, 1-1. Actually, they have 3 hits on the scoreboard. It should just be 2. A couple of singles. Hit by pitch was the last one. Fastball low and outside. It hits the ground, but that'll get the runner back quickly. He didn't want to get thrown down by Hernandez. They do have the dirt infields between the bases here and at home plate. Grass around the mounds and the grass outfield, of course. No field turf here at the ballpark, traditional style. 2-1 count now to Stephen. Last in the order for the Wildcats. Faking the pitch, turning back behind the rubber, and facing second is Brister, but Sepulveda not fooled. He's back quickly. Fastball down the middle for the strike. Stop sign up for Stephen that time. Now he's going to have to protect the plate with a 2-2 count and 1 down. Slated for 7 here at Bell Park. A little more of a delay now for Brister. Says no to a couple pitch calls from Hernandez behind the plate. Looks back a couple of times at second. Curving inside. Golf swing. It's going to go foul just outside. Oh, he called it fair. Looked like it bounced outside the left of the bag there at third. Wow. Close one. Coach Boyle not storming out of the bullpen or out of the dugout yet, but looks like he's just going to stay in the shade there. But that was a close one. I'm not sure. Maybe it got just the side of that left side of the third base there, but it was close. They're going to give a single to Stephen on that one. Umpire pretty quick on making the call there. That'll be their 3rd hit. All 3 singles at this point. Scoreboard still has a 4th. I'm not seeing where that is. They've had a bunch of ground outs so far to this point. Up at the top of the order now, it's going to be Victor Moreno, shortstop, single and a run to start the ball game. Stepping off the rubber is Brister. I actually think Moreno called the timeout at home. And now it's going to be Hernandez, catcher for the Eagles, taking a jog out to the mound after a timeout. So he wants to talk to Brister and try to make sure they don't get any more advancement on the bases. They got runners at first and second. Sepulveda at second after being hit by a pitch, and Stephen with the single. One your score here in the bottom of the second. Each team getting 1 run in each of the innings so far. Brister takes a look back at Sepulveda. Turns and fires. Curveball. Barely clips the bottom of the strike zone for the strike. 0-1 now to Moreno. Brister working on his third win this season. 2-3 currently in the win-loss. A lot more deliberate on his pitches. Here's the windup in the throw. Curving inside, almost hit the elbow of Moreno. Drops out left of the plate, and chasing it down is Hernandez. Jumping up ready to pop a throw out there, but Sepulveda hanging out near second, and he's back. Count even to 1-1. Force out would be at third with runners at first and second for the Wildcats, trying to break the 1-1 tie. Brister comes with a fastball, low and inside for ball 2. Good eye there for Moreno. Of course, big Gus Macker basketball tournament in Hobbs tomorrow and Sunday, so lots of athletes in the area and enjoying some festivities. Going to be some hot stuff, too. 90-degree weather in Hobbs tomorrow and Sunday. Curveball. Ooh, just barely drops low of the strike zone for the ball. Count to 3-1 now as Moreno getting ahead of it on Brister. Luke Parrish, of course, getting the home run and a single for Dunlap for the Eagles. Fastball, cracked hard, it's short. Turning and firing to second, a chance for a double play, a bad throw to first. Falling down at first was Kester. He picks it up, throws to second, then overthrows his teammate Taylor at second. That'll get the run to score and a runner to advance to second from first. So his first picked up by Fuentes for the Eagles, flicked it over to Taylor. Taylor threw a hard one to first. It looked like possibly Kester might have fallen or tripped on the bag before he had a chance really to catch it. It was thrown behind the first base, but he popped up and threw it back to second hard, well over the top of Taylor's head. But the run will score. That's Sepulveda getting home. So 2 runs, or make it 1 run for Clovis to make it 2-1 here in the bottom of the second and 2 outs. Double play was almost converted there, but the first out at second regardless. Fastball comes down the middle for the strike. To Tyler Ashby, who ground back to Brister, the pitcher, back in the first inning. Brister comes back with a curveball and hits the left shoulder of Ashby. That's a second hit by pitch now. Both him and Sepulveda have been hit. Sepulveda on the right side of his body and the inside shoulder of Ashby. And runners at first and second. Coach Bowman kind of nervously walking up on the netting now behind the third baseline. He's staying well off the field. Just kind of waiting to see if Brister could get through this. With runners at first and second with 2 down here in the bottom of the second, a 2-1 ball game, Wildcats. Curveball inside and low near the shoelaces for the ball. Good eye there for Aiden Romero. He ground to second back in the first. A 1-run lead for the Wildcats here at Bell Park, their home field. Curveball misses the top of the strike zone for the ball. 2-0 count now to Romero. On Thursday, Eagles had 2 pitchers on the mound. Udahara was the starter, and then Hendrick Sullivan came in on relief for the win. 4 pitchers for Clovis made the mound in Hobbs. 2-0 count. To wind up in the throw. Fastball off the handle. It's going to go out to right center on the roll. That'll be an RBI single. They'll get the throw in. Coming in to Taylor. Phillips will connect there to stop the runner from advancing, but an RBI single regardless for Romero. That'll be 2-run score for Clovis, who now leads 3-1 here in the bottom of the second. Two-run lead for the Purple squad, and brings up Joseph Hernandez, the pitcher. He walked back in the first. The only walk for the Wildcats so far in this game. 2-run lead, though, for the home team, and runners again first and second. Brister with the fastball, late swing, slow 1-2 for Hernandez, as he'll take the strike on the miss over the top of the pitch. Like his bat kind of slowed down there, as I wasn't sure if he wanted to swing it or not, but it already committed. Brister peeks at second, checking the runner. The windup in the throw, fastball low, golf swing, gets off the home plate, picked up by Hernandez, throws to third, runner there in time. Ball thrown a little bit outside third base to the left of the line. Wasn't a horrible throw there, but runner getting there quickly. So runners now second and third, both advance. And the count's still 0-2 now against Hernandez. Definitely want to get this out here to stop any more runs that come through. Hobbs down by 2. Brister goes to the fastball, hard shot, going to be fouled towards the right. Chasing it is Kester to the sidewall, but it's going to go over near the bullpen of the Wildcats on the right side, out of play. Staying alive, though, after contact was Hernandez, 0-2 count with 2 down. Listening live to Hobbs Eagle Baseball on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube Hobbs Sports page, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. Brister going to slow it down just a bit here as he spies behind the plate to Hernandez. Fastball, going to be a bouncer to second. Taylor should have an easy play. Turns and fires and connects with Kester off the 4-3. The ground out for Hernandez. But the Clovis Wildcats getting 2 hits. They get a couple of runs to score, but they leave 2 on base. Going to the top of the third. Clovis 3, your Hobbs Eagles 1. Come back with us in 60 seconds on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. Heading to the top of the third here at Bell Park in Clovis. Your Hobbs Eagles trail 3-1. Clovis scoring 1 in the first, 2 in the second. Eagles with their run in the top of the second. Eagles with 2 hits so far. A home run for Parrish and a single for Dunlap. It'll be Carson Phillips last in the order for the Eagles, getting his first chance at the plate. Phillips was 1 for 3 on Thursday. Takes a fastball. This is a shallow high fly towards right field. It might drop. Boy, the right fielder gets in there on a hard sprint to make the catch. Good effort on right there by Ashby. Had to call off his second baseman, Cordova, to make the catch. So the fly out there for the Eagles, Phillips, will be out number 1 here in the third. Top of the order, second time, Jaden Taylor, who struck out in the first. Hobbs has had 3 Ks at the plate so far off the pitching of Joseph Hernandez. Here's the windup in the throw. Fastball off the end of the bat, going to go right on the foul. Well past the Clovis dugout. Sails over all the buildings here. Not much cloud cover in the sky here. Blue skies in Clovis. Curveball inside, a knuckler off the handle, going to bounce off the left backstop. Another foul 0-2 now for Taylor. Taylor trying to get a base runner here on the road. Has a 46% on-base percentage. Definitely could use a runner now with a 2-run deficit here in the top of the third. Curveball inside for the ball. Jumping back just a bit was Taylor. Count goes to 1-2. Definitely has to keep the plate protection on here. Fastball, check swing. Boy, just barely dropped low. Catcher was kind of pointing to the first base umpire. They got 3 umps now. One came in here just seconds ago. Haven't seen that for a while. A bunch of the games at Hobbs have been 2-man referee work. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Jaden Taylor. Curveball inside, another handle shot, going to go foul right over the backstop here behind home plate. Still making some contact is Taylor. Jason Fuentes and Jaden Hernandez second and third in the order. Got to go down to number 6 in the order to get the first hit. That was Luke Parrish back in the first with that HR. Eagles only run up to this point. Here's the 2-2. Fastball. Low swing. Going to knock it on the ground to short. Sidewinder doing the splits at first to make the catch was Adams. He got the throw from Moreno. A little bit of a hopper for Moreno, then kind of sidearmed it, and some gymnastics work for Adams at first to make the catch. Ground out for Taylor. And that'll bring up second in the order, Jason Fuentes, who also grounded short back in the first inning. So I guess Moreno will be on notice here. He's shaking his head yes out at short. I think that his teammate just reminded him he hit there last time. Curveball inside, about brim high for Fuentes, takes the ball. 2 down for the Eagles. Trying to get some offense generated here, but fly out and a ground out. Curveball inside, a good yank on this one towards left field, about 340, and this one is gone. The Eagles with their second home run here at Bell Park this afternoon make it the night now. That's just going to be a one-runner, though, just like we had the first time with Luke Parrish. Unfortunately, no base runners on 2 outs, but take the runs when you can get them. Eagles had 1 run in the second, now 1 in the third, and trail 3-2. Eagles' third hit of the ball game, 2 home runs and a single. Jaden Hernandez wants to keep things going here to try to tie it up. He got the strikeout in the first to end the inning, but love to follow up on that HR from Fuentes. Joseph Hernandez still on the mound for the Wildcats. Comes to the curveball well high and outside. Backhanding high in the air was Trujillo, the catcher. And he took a shot pretty hard in Hobbs Thursday and was down on the ground there for a little while. They probably got him recovered. Fastball at the end of the bat. It's going to go high in the air. Should be enough time for some reaction. Right fielder and center fielder having a miscommunication there for a second. Almost went head first at each other. But the center fielder to last second calls him off as making the catch was Steven, telling Ashby to stay out of his territory. Coming into right center. Fly out there for the third and final out, unfortunately, for Hernandez. But the Hobbs Eagles manage 1 hit, which was an HR for Fuentes. Pick up the run, nobody left on base. We head to the bottom of the third. 3-2 Clovis over your Hobbs Eagles, back at 60 on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Welcome back to Bell Park in Clovis. A 3-2 ball game, close one. That was the actual same score of the first inning of the last game at Sportsman's Park Thursday. But Hobbs was up 3-2, but of course we're past that point now in the bottom of the third. So far the Eagles have converted on 2 home runs. Fuentes and Parrish 1 each and a single by Dunlap. And for Clovis, Moreno, Romero, Adams, and Steven all getting a single. 4-3 hit count right now. Hobbs has had a couple of throwing errors in the infield. Kind of the situation they had Thursday, too. 4 errors total and 2 for Clovis, although Hobbs winning that one 20-13. Chase Brister still on the mound for your Eagles here in the bottom of the third. And for the Wildcats, they'll be 5th in the order, Reed Adams. He had the RBI single back in the first and helped get the first run of the game as he scored Moreno, the leadoff man. Adams, one of the lefties for the Wildcats. Hobbs again 12-11 on the season, and Clovis at 11-12. Brister's still not taking a lot of time. He's going to throw the high fastball, check swing. He went around on it, did Adams for the strike. Kind of threw his head back up in the air. Would like to have that pitch back. Quick return for Brister. Curveball outside for the ball. Count now 1-1. Adams 5th in the order for the Wildcats. Cordova to follow. Here comes a 1-1. Curve. Looks like it was well outside. Then at the last second, zig to that left side of the plate for the strike. As holding on it was Adams. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Reed Adams. Curve inside and off the end of the bat to the middle backstop here, right behind home plate. What a battle to see who's going to get the foul back here. A player for Hobbs and one from Clovis, full sprint, and I believe that was Sepulveda getting the ball first. Fastball high for the ball. Hernandez steps in front of the plate and just gives some words of encouragement for his pitcher, Brister. Count to 2-2. Here's the windup of the throw. Fastball, swing and a miss. And that'll be strike 3 for Adams. In fact, that's just the first K of the ball game for the Clovis Wildcats. Back on Thursday, Clovis had 8 Ks offensively, and the Eagles just 5. Hobbs did not walk one batter in that game Thursday. There's only been one in this game. That's the pitcher for the Wildcats, Joseph Hernandez. Sandro Cordova now up, takes the first curveball for the strike. Cordova, the second baseman, ground to third for the last out of the first inning after Clovis went up 1-0. Brister comes to the curve, barely misses the outside shoulder, doesn't make contact. He's hit one with that pitch before. Ashby inside for the ball. Count to 1-1. Fastball off the end of the bat. It might be a put down to the right. No, making a hand catch right there, putting the glove in front of his face on the run. In right field for the Eagles was Luke Parrish. Thought that might drop about halfway back in right field, but he just kind of puts his hand down to the side and makes the catch. Definitely had the sun in his eyes, too, for the fly out for Cordova. Brings up Conrad Sepulveda, the DH. He was hit by a pitch and eventually scored a run, their second run of the ball game in the second inning. He is the DH. Curveball high for the ball. Trujillo and Steven to round out the order for Clovis. They have 2 outs, though, and nobody on the bases for the Purple squad. Clovis trying to work on their first district win of the season. Hobbs at 2-1. Fastball, hard chopper. Tried to get it. Kestner tried to backhand, had to get off the base to make the play and bobbled it. Looked like it might have hit his wrist from behind. So that'll get Sepulveda to first. That was a hard shot, and it got about 10, 20 feet away. He had to chase it down and go with an error on that one for Sepulveda, but he's been on base twice. Both of them gifts, an error and hit by pitch. Guadalupe Trujillo, the catcher at the 8th slot. He ground back to Brister. I believe that was a bunt back in the second inning. But they do have a runner at first now, Sepulveda. Curveball inside, and this one's going to go foul. Hard shot there down the left wall near the Hobbs Eagle dugout and bounces back towards the third baseline. So good contact there by Trujillo. Brister turns and fires it. Fastball low. Over the top was Trujillo for the strike. Got him to bite on that one. Submarine pitch coming through the little bit high, then dropped quickly as it came towards home plate. Trujillo digging out of a hole with an 0-2 count. Hobbs definitely like to stop this play here. Get the force out at second. What do they need to do? To not let Clovis add to their 1-run lead here in the bottom of the third. Time called. Backing out is Trujillo. He's going to adjust his left glove here. Get it restrapped. 3-2 ball game. Clovis by 1. 4-3 hit count in favor of the Wildcats. Hobbs with 3 errors. Fastball low and outside for ball 1. Still down in the count, though, is Trujillo. Steven, the 9th in the order, he had a single back in the second. He wants a chance to get up there. Brister, fastball, outside for ball 2. Count even now at 2-2. One game here in this final matchup between these two teams in the regular season. Used to have the best-of-3 series, but they went to just 1 each, home and away, just to get more games for tournaments in the regular season. Fastball hits low for ball 3, so scratching his way back in, it is Trujillo. Full count now. He'd love to pop this out in the outfield somewhere, give a chance for the Sepulveda to get around the bases just a bit. Already scored a run back in the second after he got on first due to being hit by the pitch. Lead off at first for Sepulveda. Brister, way long time here, and Calling the time is Trujillo as he backs out. Again, messing with that glove. Just trying to get Brister to think about it just a bit. Steal is on. Fastball outside. That'll be a walk. Ball call there, number 4, as Trujillo gets on. And now runners at first and second. Colton Steven now the center fielder, 9th in the order, had that single in the second. Runners at first and second with 2 down. Force out at third for Hobbs. And they bring in a sub-runner here for the Wildcats. Coach Cruz kind of pointing towards the outfield here. Wants to see the good swing of the bat and extend it out there to get the runners to come around as he has some words of encouragement for Steven. Brister's peeking back at Sepulveda. Curveball, just barely misses that shoulder, outside shoulder of Steven, and he actually turned out of it. If he would have stayed solid, he probably would have been hit with the pitch. 1 ball, no strikes now to Steven. Moreno, Ashby, and Romero, top of the order. They get there with the 2 outs. Both Moreno and Romero both have a single apiece. Here comes the 1-0. Curveball right through the middle of the strike zone for the strike. Count to 1-1. While the road game next week at Carlsbad, and then the Eagles wrap up their season at home on Friday. 4:45 pregame on both of those. Fastball high and outside for ball 2. Hobbs Lady Eagles 6-0 in district in softball. Beat Carlsbad a couple of times Thursday. Same time the boys team playing baseball. Same complex. Here's the 2-1. Fastball, swing and a miss. It gets loose. Hernandez pulls it out of the dirt, and it will be a strike. Almost thinking that was a 3rd strike there, so I thought he had to throw that one, but nope. That was just the 2nd. Count to 2-2. Hernandez gets some words from the dugout now about making sure we take control of the baseball here and don't let it get by on a wild pitch as best you can. Taking a deep breath is Brister, and saying no to a couple of pitch calls there by Hernandez, and now time called by Steven to back out. Justice Hellman kind of moving the shoulders around just a bit. Little psychological move there. 3-2 ball game, bottom of the 3rd with 2 outs. Clovis still has a chance to score. Fastball, middle of the bat, heading towards center field. Standing solid, just waiting for it as Phillips, one hands it, about 3/4 back, directly in center field. The wall's at 387. He had nowhere to go, just waited. That ball coming right to him. So the fly out for Steven to center. And basically nothing much going for Clovis in that one. No hits. They do leave. A couple on base. No runs come across. Go to the top of the 4th. Your Hobbs Eagles back-to-back going halfway through this game at Bell Park in Clovis. 3-2 your score in favor of the Wildcats. Come back with us in 60. Your Hobbs Eagles up to bat here. Top of the 4th inning. Slated for 7 at Bell Park in Clovis. 3-2 game. Clovis by 1. Scoring been 1-0 for the Wildcats in inning 1. They outscored the Eagles 2-1 in inning 2 to take a 3-1 lead. Eagles getting one in the top of the 3rd and trailing by the 1. Cole Kester up, the cleanup man. Takes the first pitch. Fastball outside for ball 1. Kester with the strikeout back in the 2nd. Eagles have had 3 Ks in this game so far after the pitching of Joseph Hernandez as starter. Fastball high for ball 2. 2 good eyes there for Kestner. Montez and Parrish up next. Of course, Parrish knocked a homer back in the 2nd. Both home runs for the Eagles, including Fuentes, were just single home runs. Fastball, swing and a miss for Kestner. Clipped the outside corner, and he lunged out there after it. Count goes to 2-1. Kestner with those 4 homers this season himself. Fastball down the middle for the strike. Wasn't quite ready to swing on that one. Back in the box goes Kestner. Ooh, curveball inside, almost takes his knees out, sucked the gut in and backed it up a bit. Takes the ball on a full count now, 3-2. He is the tying run right now. Quick pitch on the fastball, hit hard on the ground to short to Moreno. Turns it, fires, and gets it there. Little fingertip control on that one. As he fires it over to Adams for the out. The ground out there by the Eagles' Kestner. Eagles with 3 hits, 4 for the Wildcats. And now 5th in the order, Tristan Montez, who flew to right back in the 2nd. Still lots of sun here in Clovis. Sunset around 7:30, so plenty of time for that to stay up there. Here's the first pitch, fastball, little check swing, kind of dropped outside and low for ball 1. Montez the DH for the Eagles. 1 out, nobody on the bases. Curveball outside, another check swing. That going to go with the ask of the third base official. He's going to say, nope, didn't come around enough on that one. So the lefty is safe with the ball call there. 2-0 count now to Montez. Again, we've got 3 umps in this game. Haven't seen that for a while for the Eagles. Fastball. Ooh, clips the outside corner. Had a little drop to it as it came towards that corner. Count to 2-1. Fuentes a homer, Parrish a homer, and a single for Dunlap, the freshman. Fastball out to right field. It's going to go off, actually off the glove first. Jumping in the air was Adams, the first baseman. Thought that was going to go over his head, but it somehow got his glove up there, and it kind of ricocheted. I'm going to go with an error on that one as it did bounce off his glove, so that will get Montez on. First error for the defense for Clovis. Hobbs has had a couple, or actually 3 so far. And that'll bring up Luke Parrish. They better be careful what they throw to him with the home run and a run for himself on that one. Nobody on the bases back in the 2nd. Gave the Eagles their first run of the ball game. Fastball outside, little late swing there for Parrish. Takes the strike. Dunlap, who hit a single, up next. Throw to first and diving chest first into the first bag and doing a few push-ups on it was Montez. Razzle-dazzle there after going face first towards that bag. And they're in the dirt infield here, too. Some grass as well, but between the bases is dirt. Curveball inside, down near the ankles for the ball. Count to 1-1. Mentioned Parrish got his first homer of the season. Hernandez looks over to first, turns and fires a fastball outside, and late swing for Parrish for the strike. Count to 1-2. Back of the box goes Parrish. Hernandez staring down at first again, turns and fires. Fastball off the handle, going to go over the right backstop out of play for the foul. Eagles, despite winning against Clovis Thursday, dropped 1 in the Max Preps poll down to 11. 14 for Clovis. Fastball, swing and a miss again, strike 3. That's going to be the 4th K of the game for the Eagles, and second out here in the top of the 4th, but they're trailing by 1, 3-2. Runner remains at first, Montez, and now Braden Dunlap steps up, the third baseman, got a single back in the 1st. He's batting .600 this season. Got that second homer against Clovis Thursday. Definitely a big-time future prospect for this squad. Fastball, swing and a miss. Boy, they're starting to put him through. Hernandez has a very quick and hard fastball. Throws the first sidewinder, and getting tapped on the butt that time was Montez. Swiped there by Adams, the first baseman. 0-1 count now to Dunlap. He is 7th in the order for the Eagles, the third baseman. Hobbs trying to improve their record to 3-1 here in the district. Curve it inside, late swing, and the strike for Dunlap. That's 0-2 now to him. He wants to have that one back. Carlsbad playing Roswell tonight. They could go 4-0 after a win. They were 6-0 last year. Bunch of no's, now a yes, now a couple of no's for Hernandez. Finally gets a pitch call he wants. Fastball comes off the handle, bounces off the right netting. Behind home plate for the foul. Still getting contact is Dunlap. Tying run at first still, that's Montez. Go ahead run for Dunlap at home. Waggles the bat on the right side of his helmet. Hernandez taking a look at first and an empty second base. Back at home. Fastball outside, and that'll be strike 3. On the swing for Dunlap, 2 Ks in a row, 5 overall now for the Eagles. And unfortunately, they do leave one on base, no hits, no runs scored. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Clovis holding on to a 3-2 lead here at Bell Park in Clovis. Come back with us in 1 minute. Hobbs Eagle Baseball live on the internet. Bottom of the 4th inning going on here at Bell Park in Clovis. The Wildcats will be at the plate. They lead 3-2 after 4 hits, 3 for the Eagles. 3 errors for Hobbs' defense, 1 for the Wildcats. Fuentes, Parrish, home runs for the Eagles. Dunlap with a single. And the 4 singles for the Wildcats, Moreno, Romero, Adams, and Steven. Third time at the top of the order for the Wildcats, Victor Moreno, the shortstop. He's 1 of 2. Hit a single, got a run, and then ground to short in his second at bat. Ashby, Romero, and Hernandez 2 through 4 in the order. Again, all 4 of the hits been singles for Clovis. Chase Brister still the mound for the Eagles. His curve inside and low for ball 1. Hobbs with 9 seniors on the roster, 8 juniors for Clovis. Here's the windup of the throw. Curveball comes down low for ball 2. Hernandez has to jump in front of the plate to track that one down. Might have even hit the front of the home plate that time. 2 balls and no strikes to the top of the order, Moreno. Fastball cranked to short. Backhand going to be pulled down by Fuentes. Fires it across the field and connects with Kester off a 6-3. Another day at the office for Fuentes on the ground from Moreno. Second time he's hit to Moreno back-to-back. And now Tyler Ashby up, had a big game on Thursday. Right now doesn't have a hit yet. Ground to pitcher and he was hit by a pitch. He's been on base 1 out of 2 times though. Takes the first curve inside for low and ball 1. Definitely don't want to see his bat starting to crank here. And like I said, he had the 3 hits against the Eagles Thursday. A 2 RBI homer and 2 singles. Curving inside, a knuckler. That's going to go foul in the roll to Hobbs' dugout. Chasing it in the coach's box for the Eagles was Dunlap. Coach Cruz there, well outside the box on the left side, telling him to stretch that bat out a little bit more and keep it away from his body. 1 ball and 1 strike with 1 out for the Wildcats. Trying to extend their 3-2 lead here in the bottom of the 4th. Fastball clips inside, a little waggle of the bat there. No extension, but Ump gets the call. Thought the pitch was where it needed to be. Count to 1-2 now. Plate protection time for Ashby, the right fielder. Brister working on that second out. Fastball goes the other side of the plate, outside for ball 2. Count now 2-2 to Ashby. Miro up next with a single with an RBI. Third in the order for the Wildcats. Fastball down the middle and watching it was Ashby. That's a K. And that's the second K issued by Chase Brister. Second out, 2 for the Wildcats. Now bring up Aiden Romero, the left fielder, ground to second and had an RBI single. He's 1 of 2 at the plate. He gets in the box pretty quickly, the lefty, and Brister is ready to throw to him. Nobody on the bases for the Wildcats. Brister comes with a curveball, clips it on the left corner outside, and strike on the call. Good glove placement there by Hernandez. Brister reloads and fires. Curveball off the handle towards the Clovis dugout on the right side behind the coach's box. Both the Clovis coaches well outside their boxes right now, getting their base runners to get around, but they have 2 outs. Right now, Ghosts on the bases, but a 3-2 lead. Brister says no to a couple pitches now from Hernandez. Turns and throws. Ooh, fastball just barely misses low on the left side of the plate. Count to 1-2. 4 hits for the Wildcats, 2 Ks, 2 walks. Here's the 1-2, curve off the end of the bat. Check over to the left corner of the left field. It's going to take a bounce. It will stay fair, and it's bobbled there on the far left by Curtis. He bobbled it for a second. It was already going to be a single, but it gets advanced to a double after the bobble there on the deep third baseline out in left field, about halfway down. So a hit given to Romero on that one. 2 in a row singles for Romero. That's hit number 5 for the Wildcats. 4th in the order, the cleanup man, Joseph Hernandez, walked and ground to second. So he's trying to get himself a hit to start this game. 2 outs with 1 runner at second after the double. So I said single, I meant double for Romero on that second one. Eagles just trying to hold off the Wildcats, trying not to let them extend their 3-2 lead. Fastball, a little high and inside for ball 1. Reed Adams up next. He's got an RBI single. Hobbs Eagle JV players leaving the stands now, getting ready for their game after this one. Curveball inside and low for ball 2. 2-0 count now to Joseph Hernandez. He's the pitcher for the Wildcats. Brister takes a peek back at second, checks runner, fires a fastball low, swing and a miss for Hernandez, and the strike. Count the 2-1. Big pitch coming here from Brister. Curveball inside, shaving the chin there of Hernandez for the ball. Eagles came into this district contest averaging 13 runs a game, 2 against Roswell, 1 against Clovis, giving up 10 runs a contest. Clovis averaging 9 runs a game and giving up 12. Curveball flat across the middle of the plate for the strike. So Hernandez facing a full count now, trying to advance his second base runner. That's Romero after a double. Here comes Brister, fastball outside for the walk. Second walk for Hernandez, the 6th of the game for Clovis. Runners at first and second now. Hobbs Eagle coaching staff just kind of waiting. See if Brister can pull himself out of this one. Force out would be at third right now, the empty bag. They got Romero at second and Hernandez now at first. Reed Adams, a RBI single and a strikeout, 1 for 2 at the plate. He's a lefty. Fastball down the pike for the strike. Of course, these two teams combined for 33 runs on Thursday. Right now, just 3 or 5, 3-2. Curveball outside for the ball. Count to 1-1. So 33, and then also double digits on the hits too. I think it was 33, actually 33 hits, I believe. 19-14 it was in that stat. Here's the 1-1, curve it inside. Ooh, they get the inside corner. Looked like almost getting the belly that time, but they They just barely clipped for the strike. Count to 1-2 now to Adams. Trying to keep the Wildcats offense alive here in the bottom of the fourth. A 3-2 Wildcat lead. We are slated for 7 here, this one game, to wrap up the series. Curve it inside, low. Ball flips out of the glove. Hernandez behind the plate. He's able to kind of knock it into the infield just a bit and see what the runner was going to try to do at second. Flicks it back to Brister, who takes it back to the mound. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 down for Adams. Handful of lefties for the Wildcats. Here's the windup in the throw. Fastball high and outside for ball 3. Another full count coming. This one to Adams. Coach Boyle kind of walking back and forth now and up to the wall in the dugout. Of course, he would send Coach Bowman out first, I would assume, the pitching coach. Full count pitch. Nope, Brister going to pull off of the rubber and look back at second. Back in time is Ramiro. Coach Cruz calls time. I think he might be talking to the ump out there, wanting to balk or something, but screams at the infield umpire. The fastball outside will be a walk on the ball call. Back-to-back walks issued by Brister. That'll be the 3rd walk of the game for the Wildcats. No bullpen work yet for the Eagles. Of course, they can also put a pitcher in there that's already in another position. Now that'll be Coach Bowman jogging out to talk to Chase and bring in the infield as well. 3-2 ball game. Clovis up by 1 here at the bottom of the 4th. 2 outs, but bases loaded here at Bell Park. We'll be back in 60 seconds of the Hobbs Eagle Network. Chase Brister is the man. He'll remain as the pitcher for the Eagles. He started this ball game so far, has gone 3 2/3 inning at this point. Here in the 4th, bottom of the 4th. 2 out, bases loaded for the Wildcats. Lead by 1, 3-2. 5 hits for the Wildcats, 3 for your Eagles. 3 errors for Hobbs, 1 for Clovis. At the plate, Sandro Cordova. He's 0 for 2, ground to third, flew to right. Takes a fastball, check swing for Cordova. Picked up in front of the plate. Hernandez jogs up a little bit, the catcher, and waiting to see if anybody's going to be hanging off the bases here, and they get back where they need to for the Wildcats. Cordova just wants to get this out of the infield if possible. Here comes the 0-1 from Brister. Curveball down the pike for the strike. 0-2 count now to Cordova. Just got to make some contact. Coach Cruz encouraging him to put bat on ball. Brister, fastball, high one. Little check swing again. This one they're going to go down to the first base umpire, and he's going to go ahead and call it. Yep, that is a movement of the bat, and enough to get the strike. Home umpire pointed down to first base and got the call. Strike on Cordova. That'll be the 3rd K of the ball game for the Wildcats. Don't do themselves any justice there. They do get 1 hit, leave 3 on base. No runs come across, luckily for the Eagles, who now trail still 3-2. We go to the top of the 5th. You're listening live to Hobbs Eagle Baseball on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Back live here at Bell Park in Clovis. Ty Fred here with you. The Hobbs Eagles trail Clovis 3-2. Top of the 5th. Eagles coming to bat. Got some scores around Lee County to talk about. First in base or softball action. Lovington Lady Cats shut out Portales. And that was in the 3rd inning, winning 15-0 in game 1 of their doubleheader. In Lovington baseball, bottom of the 4th, Artesia leads Lovington 9-0. And the Hobbs Lady Eagles were beat by Roswell, first game of their doubleheader. That was 10-5. In fact, I think that was their first loss of the district. So fortunate one for Hobbs on the road in Roswell. In 3-2 game here in Clovis. As the Wildcats at home lead by 1. Hobbs at the bat, though, the lefty up for the Eagles. That's John Curtis, who flew to center on those last. Fastball, yanks it. It was inside. It goes out to right field to take a roll. Right fielder has to chase it down, knocks it to the warning track. He's got to pick it up again. Ashby, this is going to get stretched out to a triple. And diving into third, and then the throw finally gets into third base and well behind the bag to snag it. That was Rodriguez after the relay coming in. Boy, big stretch out there for Curtis. Right fielder let it roll way too long and then tried to bat at it on the ground and knocked it towards the warning track deep in right field. 330 is what the measurement is. Always get close out there. So a triple for Curtis. The Eagles pick up their 4th hit of the ball game. 2 homers, a triple, and a single so far. But they're down by 1. The tying run at first. And here's Carson Phillips up. Flew to right back in the 2nd inning. Fastball coming for Hernandez. Little high for the ball. Count to 1-0. Bottom of the order for the Eagles. They'll go to the top for the 4th time. Curve it inside and knocked off the right netting behind home plate. This foul evens up the count at 1-1. No outs for the Eagles. Tying run at 3rd after the triple by John Curtis. Hernandez fastball low. Bounces off the plate. Scooped up, though, by Trujillo to save it from going wild. A wild pitch definitely would bring home the tying run for Curtis. In top of the 5th. 3-2 lead for the Wildcats. Fastball high. Ball 2 evens up the count at 2-2. Taylor, Fuentes, Hernandez top of the order. Of course, Fuentes got a home run back in the 3rd inning. Fastball, late swing, and a miss for Phillips. Came well across the plate, left to right. That'll be strike 3. Hobbs now with 6 Ks in the ball game. Top of the order, Jaden Taylor, 0 for 2, struck out and ground to short. 1 down for the Eagles. Waiting patiently is Curtis at 3rd. Definitely doesn't want to get caught in a rundown, though. There's a couple of bases open. Fastball, high pitch, and over the top for the Eagles was Taylor for the strike. Coach Boyle watching his runner at 3rd. Fastball, high one again, swing and a miss for Taylor. So 0-2 count now to Jaden Taylor. Taylor's trying to make sure that the Eagles have a shot to tie this ball game up. He does have 18 RBIs. Fastball, check swing. They're going to point down to first ump. He's going to say, nope, he didn't come around on enough. Actually, the catcher was the one that quickly popped up and pointed to the first base ump. That was Trujillo. Count even up at 1-1. So again, 18 RBIs for Taylor. He's 4th on the team with those numbers. Here comes Hernandez with the 1-1 pitch. Fastball high for ball 2. Good eye there for Taylor. 1-run lead for the Wildcats. Fastball gets inside and strike 3. That'll be out number 2. He waited on it. Kind of like a delayed look over at the umpire and said, nope, you're going to have to go to the dugout, sir. And unfortunately, Taylor will take this strike. 7 Ks now for Hobbs. And now Fuentes up. He's 1 of 2. Ground to short. Got the home run. Takes the first pitch, a fastball for the strike. No runners when he hit that homer, so he did score the run for himself in an RBI. Back in the 3rd inning. Eagles getting their 1 run there. Fastball outside for ball 1. Count to 1-1. Wildcats led first inning 1-0. Added 2 more runs in the second. Hobbs had their 1 run. There, it was 3-1 at that point. The Eagles add another one in the 3rd. Curveball inside, high in the air, but it's going to go over the top of the backstop, right on the top of the press box. You can hear the bang there. That was not lightning. We got blue skies here in Clovis. Count at 1-1 now to Fuentes. Still waiting to get home is Curtis at 3rd to tie it up here. 1-2 pitch, fastball, high and outside, ball 2. Jaden Hernandez, the 3rd slot. Cole Kester, the cleanup man. They're hopefully going to get a chance to swing the bat in this inning. Here on the top of the 5th. Hernandez, fastball low, comes off the ball, rolls foul territory, was touched by the catcher, turns and fires to first on the 3rd strike, and that'll be it. As he makes a connection to first, and unfortunately, they cannot get the Eagles' Curtis home on that one. That'll be the 8th K of the ball game. Hobbs managed one hit, the triple by Curtis. Unfortunately, he's the one left on base at third. No runs come across. Clovis trying to add on to a 3-2 lead as they come to plate here in the bottom of the fifth. Stay live with us on Cool 95.7's Facebook page, HobbsAmerica.com, and the YouTube Hobbs Sports page. Bottom of the fifth here at Bell Park in Clovis, New Mexico. Your Hobbs Eagles trail 3-2, bottom of the fifth. Clovis at bat. Chase Brister on the mound for the Eagles, still the starter. So far, he's given up 6 hits, struck out 3, walked 3. Eagles have had 3 errors on the defensive side, 1 for Clovis. Eagles with 4 hits, rank at 5 with the triple by Curtis back in this 5th inning. They've had 8 strikeouts. No walks yet for the Eagles. And they left, unfortunately, Curtis on base there at third, trying to tie the ball game up. Clovis up now. Conrad Sepulveda, 7th in the order to DH. Hit by a pitch. Got an error to get on and a run scored. Tiptoes backwards as he swung the bat away from the plate and gets the strike. Lost his footing a little bit there. One of the lefties for Clovis. He is 7th in the order. Trujillo and Steven to round it out, 8 and 9. Looks like there was a little burrow there on the right side of the plate. He's Sepulveda moving the dirt around with his foot now as he looked back at the umpire. Called a time on that. Now back in the box, ready to go. Here comes Brister. The curveball inside. Just barely misses inside for the ball. Count to 1-1 to Sepulveda. Did get hit by the pitch to start off the game, and actually in the second, but then got the run scored for the Wildcats. Only run of that first or third inning, that was their, or second inning, he got one of the 2 runs. Curveball gets down the pike for the strike. Count to 1-2 now to Sepulveda. Brister's back on the fast pace now on the mound. Now he's going to slow it up a little bit, gets a different pitch call. Turns and fires a fastball. Late swing off the end of the bat to the left backstop, bouncing off the netting. Count stays at 1-2. Listening live to Hobbs Eagle Baseball exclusive coverage on the Cool 95.7 Facebook page, HobbsAmerica.com, and the YouTube sports page for the Hobbs Eagles. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fastball outside, a chopper off the end of the bat again. Rolls up the left backstop and barehanded by Coach Bowman for the Eagles. He'll return it back to Hernandez, the catcher for Hobbs. Wildcats 0-3 in district. Your Hobbs Eagles at 2-1. Brister, fastball off the handle. It's going to roll foul to the Clovis coach's box on the first base line near the Wildcat dugout. Had some trouble getting that bat extended out that time and got choked up on the handle there. Did Sepulveda. Trujillo will come up next. He's got a walk, and then Steven has a single. So both those guys have been on 1 of 2 times each. Right now a 1-2 count as Brister faces Sepulveda. Curveball at the middle of the bat, going towards left center, shifting left and making the catch with one hand was Carson Phillips. A fly out for Sepulveda to left center field. And Guadalupe Trujillo now 8th in the order for the Wildcats. Ground to the pitcher, Brister, and walked. So he's 0 of 1 from the plate. 1 of 3 walks given to the Wildcats. Brister's gone the distance so far. Same for Hernandez for the Wildcats on their mound. First pitch comes, curveball, clips the inside corner for the strike. 6 hits for the Wildcats at this point. Actually 5, not 6. Curveball inside. Good yank on the ball. It's going foul quickly, though, to the left. Sails over the Hobbs Eagle bullpen on the left side and rolls across the street near the Eagle bus. B&G Transportation sitting there waiting for the game to conclude here with a 3-2 ball game in the bottom of the 5th. Brister curveball inside, up by the knuckles for the ball. Good eye there for Trujillo. 4 singles and 1 double for Clovis. And a time call. Coach Cruz thinks his player got hit with the ball, maybe on the knuckles like I was mentioning. I thought it was knuckle high. During the break between the innings, I know Coach Cruz out there not happy about the non-balk call that they thought that Brister had stepped off the rubber previous. Now they're bringing all 3 umps together. Blue shirts are all meeting in front of the home plate. Now, I'm not sure how you can get help from your third and first base umpire crew, but you're right at the plate. I see one ump was kind of patting his elbow, but no way was that near an elbow. It's more like on the hand. Are they going to send him to first? Uh-oh. Coach Boyle, I saw him moving in the dugout. And that is the umpire, the plate umpire, calling his other 2 field umpires in. I don't know how they could see any closer or whether it hit or not. So that will go down as a hit by pitch. That's the 3rd time that's happened. Ashby, Sepulveda, and now Trujillo all been hit once each. That'll put a runner at first. 1 out here for Clovis. Bottom of the order now. Colton Stephen, 1 for 2, a single and a fly to center. He's the 9th man in the order. And they'll go to the top for the 4th time with Moreno. Throw to first is going to get there, but not in time. Back to the base is Trujillo. Three-two ball game still, bottom of the 5th. 2 more innings to go here. Brister says no to a couple pitch calls from Hernandez. Boy, he's going through the whole list here. Looks like the 4th or 5th one. Then time called as Steven is getting bored waiting. Swings a practice swing with the bat there. Brister takes a peek back at first, checks the runner. Trujillo, curveball inside, hit hard on the ground to Fuentes. Underhands it to second to Taylor. Throw to first is in time. Double play for the Hobbs Eagles. A 6-4 to 3 for the double play. Once again, Fuentes to Taylor to Kessner. And there you have it, double play time as Colton Stephen hits right into where he didn't want to Fuentes at short. So the Clovis Wildcats, no runs, nobody left on base after the double play. No runs come across. The Eagles get their chance to tie or take a lead here. Top of the 6th, 3-2 Clovis. Come back with us on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Hobbs Eagles at the plate, top of the 6th, trail 3-2. After 4 hits so far for the Eagles, couple homers, a single and a triple. Curveball inside coming to Hernandez. He yanks it towards the Hobbs Eagle dugout on the left, bounces off the sidewall and rolls out into left field. They'll have to get that thing back in before we continue play. Hernandez is 0 for 2, struck out and flew to right. He's due for a hit. The 2 homers, 1 for Fuentes, 1 for Parrish. Both single runs scored on those. Triple by Curtis and a single by Dunlap. Hernandez still on the mound for the Wildcats. Fastball low for the ball. Count to 1-1. Hernandez is third in the order for the Eagles. Cole Kester, the cleanup man, next. He's looking for his first hit of the ball game. Of course, Hobbs had 19 hits on Thursday at Sportsman's Park. Curveball inside, high shot towards left deep field, and the left fielder running over there over the shoulder near the pole as he was taking a big-time run to try to make the grab on that one. Had a lot of air underneath it as the flyout, unfortunately, for Hernandez. Hear the crack of the bat on that one. And getting over to make the play was Romero. And he was shifted way over, too. He had to take a full sprint, getting close to the pole. 340 is the measurement out there in left field. Not quite there yet, but it was getting close. Cole Kester now 0 for 2, strikeout, ground to short. Fastball comes low, way over the top is Kester for the strike. Kestner with the 4 home runs this season. Definitely a guy you can count on to crank the ball when need be. He has a 46% on base percentage. Takes a fastball. This one low. Golf swing over the top again. 0-2 count on the strike. Eagles just trying to get some base runners. He'd be the tying score here. The 3-2 deficit here on the top of the 6th. Hernandez comes fastball. Swing and a miss. That's strike 3 for Kestner. Boy, up to 9 Ks now for Joseph Hernandez on the mound for Clovis. Surprised we didn't see him on Thursday, but they did go through 4 different pitchers: Rodriguez, Jenkins, Sepulveda, and Romero. Eagles winning that one 20-13. Hobbs currently second in the district standings at 2-1. Clovis at 0-3. And of course, Carlsbad is 3-0, and Roswell 2-1. Fastball outside for the ball to Montez, the lefty. He's 0 for 2, flew to right and got on due to an error. 2 down for the Eagles, trailing by 1. Curveball towards the elbow for the ball. Inside on the pitch there from Hernandez. Parrish due up next with a home run that he got back in the 2nd. Fastball. That's going to go up the right side, foul. Almost sliced off some legs of the Clovis squad there in the dugout right side of the field. Good contact. Just need to straighten it out a bit for Montez. 2-1 count now to Tristan Montez. He is the tying run. Fastball outside this time, left, and it will be for the ball. 3-1 count, so a pitch to burn for Montez. Parrish, Dunlap, Curtis, and Phillips, bottom of the order for the Eagles, the last 4. That would rack it up for the 4th time around. Fastball off the handle. Bounce foul, right side of the first base. Chasing it anyway was Adams. He got it off the hop, but already called foul from the up behind him. Got both of the base pass, 1st and 3rd, covered by umpires in this game, a 3-man crew. We haven't seen a lot of that in the varsity schedule this year. Looks like the JV's going to have to wait for the 2nd game of the doubleheader and instead of playing at a separate field. That's happened a lot with lack of umpires. Here's the full count pitch from Hernandez. Fastball, clips the outside corner. Whoa, Montez threw his bat down like he was ready to take a run up the line for the walk. He's getting the strikeout, unfortunately, instead. That's the 10th K issued by Joseph Hernandez, and out number 3 for the Eagles. No hits, nobody on the bases, no score comes across. Bottom of the 6th. Clovis hanging on to a 3-2 lead here at Ball Park in Clovis, New Mexico. We're back in just 1 minute live on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and the Cool 95.7 Facebook page. Chase Brister has gone 6 innings so far. Actually, this will be his 6th on the mound for the Eagles. Right now he's given up 3 runs and 5 hits for the Wildcats, but He's got a couple of jams in this game, bases loaded and runners at first and third a couple of times. Coaches have kept him in there. They've had one timeout with him in the infield, but they're putting a lot of trust in that pitcher. If he gets a win tonight, it'll be 3-3 on the season, his 8th game appearing on the mound. Clovis, though, trying to extend their lead 3-2. They'll start the order for the 4th time. Victor Moreno, he is 1 of 3. Started with a single and a run, but has ground to short to Fuentes twice since then. Curveball high for ball 1. Ashby, Romero, and Hernandez, 2 through 4 in the order, and Romero with the hot bat in this one with a RBI single and a double. Fastball low and outside for ball 2. Of course, Moreno, the shortstop. Quick pitch for Brister. Fastball low and outside for ball 3. So Moreno getting well ahead of the count here. Fuentes backed up towards the grass at short, midway between second and third. Fastball outside, ball 4. Quick walk given to Moreno. That's the 4th walk of the game for the Wildcats. Now the runner at first is Moreno. Tyler Ashby, who had a hot game on Thursday, not so hot in this one. He is 0 for 2, grounded the pitcher, struck out, and was hit by a pitch. Now Coach Boyle comes out. If it's not the pitching coach and the head coach comes, looks like there might be a switch on the mound. Looks like Brister's shaking hands with his catcher Hernandez before Boyle got out there. So on the valiant effort for him, just a 3-2 ball game, real close one still. We'll have to see what Coach Boyle is going to make a decision on who's pitching. And it looks like somebody from the dugout coming on, so not somebody that was out there currently. As we'll wait to see who we got coming. Thought that one might have been Sullivan. Yep, Hendrick Sullivan's out there. So Sullivan got the win as a relief pitcher on Thursday, coming in for Utahara, and he'll be back again tonight. So Hendrick Sullivan, the senior, will get a chance to throw here, get some warm-ups as your Eagles still trail 3-2. Clovis has a runner on. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Hobbs Eagles making a pitching change here in the bottom of the 6th, trailing 3-2 to Clovis. No outs with the runner at first. Hendrick Sullivan, the senior, one of 9 seniors on the team, is the pitcher. The guy to sub in here for, of course, Chase Brister. Brister ends up giving up a total of 5 hits, 3 runs, walked 4, and struck out 3. Sullivan checks in this game with a 2-1 record. His 7th game of the season and a 2.63 ERA. Again, he played on Thursday, got the win against Clovis in that 20-13 victory as he came in for Utahara. First guy he's going to face, Tyler Ashby. 0 for 2, grounded pitcher, struck out and was hit by a pitch, so he's been on base 1 of 3 times. 3 players have been hit by pitches so far in this game for Clovis. 3-2 ball game, bottom of the 6th, Clovis in the lead. Curveball with a butt. It's going to go up the third base line. Scooped up by Sullivan. Fires it sidearm. They barely get him. A big stretch by Kestner. Almost doing the splits there. Well, he completely had to reach out. Thrown about the left of the bag, or the left of the base there at first. Sullivan had to come and then turn and fire from a 180 angle there and was able to make the throw in time. So ground out for Ashby to Sullivan. That'll be out number 1. Runner did advance to second, Moreno. Wait a second here. Not sure what just happened, but they just sent Romero to the base. Did they potentially walk him possibly? Yeah, they did. That's what they did. They walked him. I was forgetting what number that was. It was 14, and he's the next one up. Romero, though, 2 for 3 at a double RBI single. So that's why he got the automatic or a walk given straight out by Sullivan, 5 walks now in the game. That was on purpose, though. They got runners at first and second with 1 out. Sullivan goes to the fastball down the middle against Hernandez. The starter, pitcher for Clovis, takes a strike. He's got 0 for 1, ground to second, and 2 walks, so he's been on base twice. A walk here would load the bases. Sullivan looks back at second, turns and fires a fastball high. Swatting and flies was Hernandez for the strike. Force out would be at third. Hobbs has 1 double play so far in this game. 0-2 count now to Hernandez. Trying to add out to a 3-2 lead for the Wildcats. They're on their home field, ballpark. Big leadoffs at first and second. Sullivan taking some time here, getting the call he wants from Hernandez. Time called. Pulling out is the other Hernandez, the pitcher for Clovis. Got to keep that straight. Catcher for Hernandez for the Eagles and the pitcher Hernandez for Clovis at the plate. Here comes the 0-2 from Sullivan. Fastball, swatted down at short. Should be a good play, a double play. Oh, they scoop the ball to second, does Fuentes, but it got lost in the sun in Taylor's space. He drops it. That'll be an error. That could have been a double play opportunity, second one of the game, but unfortunately, Hernandez gets on due to an error. Hasn't been designated on the scoreboard. I don't know how you can't call that an error. It was a little underhand flip to second. That should have been an easy stomp and throw. Yep, there we go. So that'll be the Eagles' 4th error of the ball game. And that sun is pretty bad on the infield at this point. Except third. Third has a little bit of a shadow on it, but second and first wide open to the sun. Reed Adams now in for the Wildcats. He's the 6th in the order. He is 1 for 2, RBI single, a walk, and a strikeout. On base 2 or 3 times. 1 down, 3-2 ball game. Runners at all bases. Bases loaded here. Fastball outside from Sullivan for the ball. So Adams, the lefty, trying to add on to that 3-2 score. They picked up a couple of walks here in the bottom of the 6th. Sullivan in relief, of course. Fastball down the pike. Ooh, wow, just barely low for the ball. Hobbs fans here, they're not happy with that one. Count to 2-0. Two balls and no strikes to Reed Adams. He's 5th in the order for the Wildcats. Sullivan with the fastball, late swing. That's to go outside the coach's box on the first baseline. Their first base coach who was acting like he was going to bat it himself with his bare hand and would have had a hole through that hand if he would have tried that and made contact. Just messing around over there. Count to 2-1 now as Adams trying to keep in contention to get these runners around. All the bases covered up with runners for Clovis now leading off. Sullivan with the wind-up of the throw. Fastball low for ball 3. A walk would get a run scored. A little pressure now on Sullivan. One of 9 seniors on this Hobbs Eagle Senior Latin Ball Club. Haven't had any scores 4th or 5th inning or into the 6th at this point. Fastball through the first-second gap, rolls out to right. That's going to score 1. They're going to send another runner 2. The throw on the relay will not be in time. 2 runners score and a single, 2 RBI single for Adams. The throw to third. I think they say that was in time. Nope, it wasn't. The runner barely gets there. So a 2 RBI single for Adams. He will score Moreno and Romero, both that got on due to walks earlier, so base runners is what they needed. And that's going to pull the lead to 5-2 in favor of the Wildcats. Off that 2 RBI single from Adams. He stayed at first, though, as the other runner is taking care of business. Time called here. Catcher Hernandez talking to the umpire behind the plate. Sandro Cordova up now. He is 0 for 3. He ground to third, flew to right, and struck out. Five to 2 your score. 3-run lead for Clovis. They were up 3-2 heading into this bottom of the 6th. Sullivan comes with a fastball showing bunt. Losing it off the end of the bat, though, was Cordova to the right backstop out of play. Foul. Looks like Wildcats just want to load the bases again or possibly try to get another scored run for Hernandez, who's now at third. He really chugged out around the bases, too. They got 2 runners coming in, then he followed them up to third. 1 down for the Eagles, 0-1 count now to Cordova. Clovis 0-3, trying to get their first district win and getting kind of stirred up now. Curveball high for the ball as Hernandez pops up for it and is getting ready to throw it down to first to Kestner, but Adams knew that was coming, and he was sprinting hard back to the bag. His coach going out and talking to him now and doesn't want him to get picked off. Clovis wants to add on to their 3-run lead here. 6-4 hit count, favor of Clovis. 5-2 lead. Empty base at second, runners at first and third. Here comes the 1-1 now from Sullivan. Steals on, curveball inside, a hard throw over second base. Hernandez chucks it way too long, and that's going to score a run on the air. And a runner advances to third, it slides in head first, and there'll be the runner there. That was Adams. Cordova's going to stay at the plate, but an errant throw. Now Coach Boyle's out in the field. He's pointing at one of the players, Cordova. I think he was saying Cordova was getting interference at the plate. Cordova's the batter right now. Coach Boyle says, how did my catcher be able to see to throw to second? We're going to have a meeting with all 3 umps now. Umpire's going to call them together. So I think Coach Boyle arguing that Hernandez, the catcher, was interfered with as the batter was staying in the box and kind of getting in front of him there, or at least trying to block his view of the throw to second. Kind of a gamble on that throw, too. The sun is right in the eyes of the infield. Taylor would have had a hard time being able to spot that ball. He's got his sunglasses on out there, but big discussion now with the 3 umps talking whether this is going to be an interference now or not. If you are the batter, you got to stand in the way of the catcher to give him some room if he decides to pop and throw like he did there to second. Long discussion. They did overrule a call a few minutes ago, and it was in the favor of Clovis on a hit by pitch. Plate umpire didn't call it, and they had a meeting, and they decided to go ahead and give the base to Clovis back in the last inning. Still 6-2, the score. Wildcats have had 3 come across, but that's depending on what the call is here. I think they just let it go. Coach Boyle not happy about it. Kind of shaking his head, putting his arms up in the air. He's on the third baseline right now. Coming back and still having some words to the umpire behind home plate. So the score will remain 6-2. 3 runs have come across. Here in the bottom of the 6th, we are slated for 7. And 1 out here at Bell Park. Coach Boyle returns to the dugout. Back in the box goes Cordova. He's got a 1-2 count. Runner at third now. 2 of them came home prior to that. Here comes Sullivan. Fastball off the handle. Going to roll to third. Turning and firing is Dunlap. Side-arming it. Having to jump and come down with it was Kestner. Good athletic move to kind of scoop low as he knew that runner was going to come underneath him and able to stomp first. So the ground out to Dunlap. Had to move into the infield a little bit from third base that time, but made the play, the freshman. That will be out number 2 for the Wildcats and bring up Conrad Sepulveda, the lefty. He's 0 for 2, got on due to an error, flew to center and was hit by a pitch, did score a run after that. Still the runner at third is Adams. Fastball low and inside for ball 1. Hernandez comes up, kind of jogging into the infield with the ball, the catcher. Made sure Adams went back to third. A 4-run lead for the Wildcats. Eagles have another at bat in the 7th to try to tie it up or take a lead. Their last offensive opportunity, depending on what goes on here. The 2 outs. Fastball outside, clips the outside corner for the strike. Sepulveda waiting on that one. Final series of the regular season in district for the Eagles next week versus Carlsbad. Here's the 1-1 from Sullivan. Curveball outside and high for ball 2. That ball's thrown the left of the plate, too. They know the runner's at third, so it might look like an errant pitch, but he's definitely popping and ready quick on that. Hernandez behind the plate. See what that runner's going to do. Maybe bite out more than he can chew. Fastball at the end of the bat. Golf swing high in the air towards Dunlap, who tripped a little bit. Comes up in front of the bag and makes the catch with one hand. Got his foot stuck in the dirt behind the third bag, but still made the catch. So he threw it out and then also caught one for the fly from Sepulveda. The Clovis Wildcats, though, had 1 hit, a 2 RBI single from Adams. They score 3 and end up leaving 1 on base. 6-2, Clovis by 4. Eagles have to score at least 4 to keep the game going. You're listening live to Hobbs Eagle District Baseball on Cool 95.7's Facebook page, HobbsAmerica.com, and YouTube. Top of the 7th inning here in Clovis. Your Hobbs Eagles trail by 4, 6-2. They're last at bat unless they can get the 4 runs at least tie or 5 to take a lead. Clovis would still get one more at bat in the bottom of the 7th. Scoring has gone 1-0 Clovis in the first. Clovis outscoring the Eagles 2-1 in the second to take a 3-1 lead. Another run for the Eagles in the third made it 3-2. Nobody scoring in the 4th and 5th, and then the 3 coming across in the 6th just now from Clovis. They lead 6-2. They have 6 hits in the game for Clovis and 4 for the Eagles. At the plate is Parrish. This is third at bat. Takes a fastball outside, ball 1. He had the home run back in the second, scored himself only, and a strikeout. One of 2 homers presented by the Eagles, including Fuentes. Staying on the mound is Hernandez. Going the distance. Fastball. Swing and a miss for Parrish for the strike. Count to 1-1. Parrish 6 in the order. Dunlap, Curtis, and Phillips 7 through 9. Here's the windup of the throw. Fastball outside for another ball. Got off the glove there of Trujillo. Hard shot pitch from Hernandez. 2-1 count now to Luke Parrish. Dunlap has a single. Curtis has a triple. Curveball inside, going to get hard to third. Scooped it on the run for the throw. In time, connecting Rodriguez to Adams on the 5-3. On the ground from Parrish. 1 down for the Eagles now. 6-2 ball game, favor the Wildcats. Braden Dunlap now, the freshman. He's 1 of 2, a single and a strikeout. Fastball low across the plate, rolling across for the ball. Hobbs has had 10 Ks in this ball game at the plate. A lot different than what we saw in the game on Thursday where they had 19 hits. Teams combined for 33 total at Sportsman's Park. A little bit of wind helping some balls over the fence too. Fastball down the middle off the end of the bat. Ricochets back to the middle of the backstop for the foul for Dunlap. Count even up at 1-1. So Dunlap 7th in the order. Curtis and Phillips to follow with 1 down. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Hernandez fastball. Barely misses the bottom of the strike zone for the ball. 2-1 count. Hernandez continues to fire the pitches, not taking a lot of time between them. Fastball inside for the strike. Dunlap trying to bounce back a little bit, trying to sell that one as an inside pitch, but the ump's going to get the strike. Count to 2-2. No runners on for the Eagles, down by 4. Fastball, swing and a miss outside. It was dropped third strike, but a tag by Trujillo, the catcher, and that will sit Dunlap down, unfortunately. 11th K of the game for the pitching of Joseph Hernandez. And down to the final out here, the Eagles got to make some contact and get on base. John Curtis, a man to do it, 1 for 2, a triple, and also fly to center. He is a lefty, of course. Triple in the 6th inning for Curtis. Eagles got to get a runner on here to pick away at the 4-run deficit, 6-2. Hernandez says no to a couple pitch calls from Trujillo. Now he's going to take the 3rd one. Turns and fires. Fastball. Gets some high air underneath it towards right. It'll be shallow. The second baseman backpedaling. Now the right fielder comes behind him and dives for it. Makes the catch. The second baseman was having some issues deciding where the ball was going to come down. And coming behind him was Ashby from right field all the way towards behind second. Still in the grass, though, and making the catch for the final out. Unfortunately, the fly for Curtis will end the ball game in shallow right. 6-2 final. The Clovis Wildcats with the win over the Hobbs Eagles. They will improve to 1-3 in district. Hobbs drops to 2-2. Overall, Clovis now 500 at 12-12. The Eagles drop to 12-12 as well. Again, 6-2 final. Clovis over Hobbs. We'll be back in 3 minutes with your stats of the game here at Bell Park in Clovis. Welcome back to Ballpark here in, that's actually Bell Park here in Clovis, New Mexico. The Wildcats get the home win 6-2 to get their first win in district. Now 1 and 2 in district. Actually, what is that? 1 and 3 in district, excuse me. Your Hobbs Eagles dropped to 2-2. Looking at the numbers in this game, first of all, for the Clovis Wildcats, they had 2 with multiple hits. It was Romero, Aiden Romero, 2 for 3. He had a double and an RBI single. Also walked and scored a run. Reed Adams was 2 for 3. A 2 RBI single and an RBI single. He finished up with 3 RBIs in the game and a walk. That was it for multiple hitters. It was Victor Moreno went 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored. Actually, 2 runs scored. He had a walk as well. And it was Colton Stephen 1 for 3 at the single. So they had a total of 4 guys getting hits in this ball game out of the 9 that hit the plate in the contest. So 6 hits. They were struck out only 3 times and got 6 walks in the game for the win. For your Hobbs Eagles, nobody with multiple hits. In fact, there's 4 guys getting single hits apiece, but big ones. Jason Fuentes got a home run. He also scored the run after that. He was 1 for 3. It was Luke Parrish 1 for 3. He had a home run for himself. And then also Braden Dunlap went 1 for 3. He had a single, and it was John Curtis 1 for 3 with the triple. But again, nobody with multiple hits. Hobbs finishing with just 4 hits in the ball game. They were struck out 11 times, walked 0. And the big numbers becoming because of Joseph Hernandez. A very good game with the distance for Clovis, and again with those 11 Ks on the pitching. And again, last game Thursday, they had 19 hits, only 4 in this one. And the K's really different as well because Eagles in that game Thursday only had 5 strikeouts and 6 more in this contest. So again, the final 6-2. The score by innings, Wildcats 1-0 in the first. They led 3-1 after 2. Eagles did score in that second inning. Hobbs added another run in the third to make it 3-2 3-2 Wildcats. Neither team scored in the 4th or 5th, but 3 runs come across in the 6th for Clovis. And that was the final margin. Hobbs did not score in the 7th, 6-2 final. Hobbs had 4 errors in the game, just 1 for Clovis. And that was the same number Hobbs had against Clovis on Thursday, was the 4 errors, but still won that one 20-13. So the question is now, what's going to happen with the Carlsbad-Roswell matchup? Their second game tonight. Don't have a final on that one yet. But that means the final series of the season will be the Hobbs Eagles against Carlsbad, a home and away affair. Visiting game to start, and then the final home game of the season, regular season, will be on Friday at Sportsman's Park. So very critical series. Eagles definitely probably need to get both wins there. And right now they sit at 12-12, so on the 500 mark. That's the numbers that Clovis had last year, did not make the playoffs. Of course, Hobbs was under 500 and Roswell under 500 as well. So got to try to get yourself over that 500 mark. Eagles definitely can do it with the 2 games remaining, but it's going to be a tight one. 16 teams make it to the state tournament and then have the first best-of-3 series. But unfortunately for Carlsbad last year, they were the number 3 seed and lost to a number 14 Cibola 2-1. So it's anybody's game once the end of the season happens, but Hobbs would definitely like to pick off Carlsbad, the team that went 6-0 in district last year. Final score once again from Clovis, 6-2 Wildcats over your Hobbs Eagles. And we will be with you for the next games coming up next week. Of course, Hobbs will continue to have the coverage on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and the Hobbs Cool 95.7 Facebook page. Just double checking our schedule on this one so I don't give you the wrong information. I was going to start shouting it out, and I want to make sure on that really quickly here before we go off the air. Did mention, too, the Hobbs 8 Eagles lost their first game of their doubleheader to Roswell, their first loss of the district schedule. So kind of disappointing there on the road in Roswell. So, of course, the Lady Eagles, one of the best teams in the state at this point. Love to see them move on to the playoffs as well. So the next game for the broadcast for the Hobbs Eagles, as I fumbled through my schedule, the next game will be at Carlsbad. On that one will be on the 28th. Which is Tuesday. So Hobbs will play 5 o'clock start, 4:45 pregame show, and then we'll have the game on Friday. That will be, I had that part right, at home at Sportsman's Park. Again, 4:45, first pitch at 5 o'clock. So the final 2 games of the district season, Carlsbad currently sitting at 13-10, and they are might be undefeated by the end of the tonight, 4-0. We'll have to wait and see. But that should be some big-time games for the Hobbs Eagles to try to punch their ticket to the state playoffs. I'd like to thank Evie and Tiffany back at the station for all the technical backup. Again, thanks for being with us. 6-2 Clovis over your Hobbs Eagles. We'll see you next Tuesday, and have a great weekend out there.